The nights were still quiet, but they no longer felt empty to Amara. What once carried loneliness had become something sacred. In the stillness of those hours, she began to speak, not into the void, but to God. At first, her words were fragile, weighed down by pain. "Why, Lord?" she would whisper. "Why did this happen? Why did you allow me to love so deeply only to be broken?" The questions came honestly, unfiltered. But as the days passed, something in her prayers began to change. They softened. They deepened. They became less about seeking answers and more about seeking peace. Amara started kneeling beside her bed each night, her palms open in quiet surrender. One evening, her voice steadied as she spoke. "Father, I may not understand, but I trust you. If this pain is part of my journey, then help me grow through it." For the first time, her tears no longer felt suffocated. They came gently, like release rather than despair. With each prayer, the heaviness in her chest began to ease. The emptiness she once feared started to feel different, no longer a void, but a space being filled. In those moments of silence, she learned to listen. The quiet was no longer oppressive. It carried a calm she could not explain. Sitting still, eyes closed, she often felt a quiet reassurance settle within her. "You are enough." The words were not spoken aloud, yet she felt them deeply. Her conversations with God extended beyond her room. During her walks, she spoke softly as though she were not alone. "Lord, I still miss him sometimes," she admitted one afternoon, gazing up at the sky. "But I also feel you filling that space, and it feels lighter." At her desk, she began to write her prayers, line after line of surrender and gratitude. "Thank you for the strength I did not know I had. Thank you for teaching me through pain. Thank you for reminding me that my life is still meaningful." Slowly, her prayers shifted away from the past. She no longer spoke only of Dave. Her words began to embrace her future, her healing, her purpose, her growth. She prayed for her family. She prayed for courage. She even prayed for Dave, not with longing, but with a quiet wish for his peace. Faith became her refuge. Whenever loneliness crept in, she returned to prayer. And each time, she rose a little stronger than before. God was no longer distant in her mind. He had become her constant, her comfort, her guide, her strength. In losing Dave, she had gained something deeper, a certainty. She was never alone. Her conversations with God were no longer cries for help. They had become moments of connection, steady, reassuring, full of quiet grace. And within them, Amara found a love that did not break, did not leave, and did not fade. A love that would carry her forward. One morning, as she sat outside her home, she watched children from the neighborhood playing. Their laughter rose freely into the air, bright and unrestrained. One of them stumbled and fell, but instead of crying, he burst into laughter, brushing himself off before running back into the game. Amara found herself smiling. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed. It was soft, almost hesitant, like a sound she had forgotten how to make. The moment startled her. She touched her lips lightly, as if to confirm it had truly happened. She had laughed. Something inside her shifted. From that moment, she began to notice the small, quiet humor in everyday life. The neighbor's rooster crowing at odd hours, as though unaware of time. Her cousin's exaggerated storytelling, filled with dramatic gestures. They made her smile. Gradually, she stopped resisting this moment. In the evenings, she listened to light-hearted programs on a small radio, finding herself laughing along without restraint. While cooking, she began to hum softly, sometimes even singing under her breath. The sound of her own voice felt unfamiliar, but comforting. Her aunt noticed the change. "So your smile has finally returned," she teased one afternoon. Amara laughed, the sound fuller this time, spilling out freely. It surprised even her, how natural it felt. She began to seek out these moments, not as an escape from pain, but as a way to restore balance. At the market, she lingered to watch the playful exchanges between traders. With friends, she allowed conversations to remain light, free from the weight of her past. Laughter became a bridge. It pulled her gently back into life. The memory of Dave still lingered somewhere deep within her, but it no longer dominated her every moment. The pain had not vanished, but it had softened, making room for something else. Joy. She came to understand that happiness did not always arrive in grand, overwhelming waves. Sometimes, it existed quietly, in ordinary moments, in shared smiles, in laughter that asked for nothing. For the first time in a long while, Amara began to wake without heaviness in her chest. Mornings no longer carried the echo of regret or the silence of absence. Instead, they arrived gently, with birdsong outside her window and sunlight spilling softly across her bed. She would sit up, stretch lightly, and whisper to herself, "I deserve peace. I deserve joy." These were no longer empty words. They were quiet truths she was learning to believe. Amara had come to understand something deeper than she ever had before. Love, in its truest form, had to begin within.